There comes a moment every morning where heaven leans in to see what you will do with the first breath of your day. Because favor is not random and breakthrough is never accidental. They are attracted by alignment, intention, and obedience. And if you can discipline the first hour of your morning, you can redirect the next 12 hours of your life. The question is not whether God wants to favor you. The question is, have you positioned yourself to receive it? Today, I want to show you 3 simple, powerful, destiny-shaping actions that unlock God's favor before your feet even touch the ground. Lean in, because what you do next can shift everything that comes after. There is a secret in life, a principle so powerful that if applied consistently, it will change the trajectory of your destiny. And it begins the moment you wake up. You see, every morning presents a choice between chaos and order, between delay and action, between mediocrity and divine favor. The first action you take, the very first thought you entertain, has the power to set the entire tone of your day. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to walk through life effortlessly, doors opening, opportunities appearing as if by magic? That is no coincidence. That is favor responding to alignment, to the discipline of positioning yourself correctly in the morning. Now, listen closely. The first thing you must do every morning is seek God with intentionality, not casually, not distractedly, but with the full attention of your heart. Before your eyes scroll through messages, before your mind drowns in worries, you must lift your spirit to the source of all wisdom, all provision, and all opportunity. Because favor, true favor, is not something you stumble upon. It is something that recognizes where you stand. It recognizes preparation. And preparation begins with a conscious act of submission, of humility, of declaring, God, today I need your guidance, your favor, your wisdom. And here is the critical point. Favor responds to consistency. One morning of prayer or alignment may give a glimpse, a taste, but it is repeated, disciplined mornings that build momentum. Imagine a river carving a canyon. It is not the force of one drop of water that shapes the land, but the daily persistence, the unwavering flow. Your mornings are the river of your life. Each action, each choice, each moment of devotion carves pathways for divine opportunities to flow toward you. And the question you must ask yourself today is, are you allowing the river to flow, or are you damming it with distractions, with delay, with indecision? And as you do this, pause and reflect. Not every morning will be perfect. Not every prayer will feel answered immediately. Yet, the principle remains. Alignment attracts favor, and intentional mornings are your invitation. The unseen forces, the spiritual momentum that governs breakthrough, will not ignore the one who positions themselves rightly. They will respond. They will open doors. They will direct your steps. But here is where many fall short. They rush past this moment, unaware that favor is waiting patiently, but it will not chase the unprepared. So take this first step seriously, with conviction, with clarity, with urgency. Seek divine guidance. Align your heart, your mind, your spirit. Command your day before it commands you. Because the moment you master this, you create a foundation for the second principle, a principle that will multiply the favor you have just invited. But that, my friend, is the next step. And the next step will change everything. Once you have positioned yourself to receive divine guidance, the next step is critical, because favor responds not only to intention, but to action. You see, many people pray, they seek, they align, yet their lives remain stagnant. Why? Because favor is activated by obedience. Favor is drawn to those who do, not just those who wish. And this is where the second principle comes in. Every morning, you must declare your purpose and commit your actions before the day unfolds. You must rise with clarity, with vision, with the determination to move in the direction of destiny. Think about it. The universe, the spiritual realm, the invisible forces that govern success, they respond to purpose-driven lives. When you wake up and say, "Today I will do this, today I will pursue that," you are sending a signal to every opportunity, every blessing, every open door. And it is not about setting a long list of goals. No, it is about defining the first crucial steps that align with your calling. Because favor is drawn to momentum, to motion, to energy directed with intention. In other words, if you remain stagnant, favor will pass you by, no matter how many prayers you have whispered in the stillness of dawn. Now hear me, this is not just about making a to-do list. This is about declaring your authority over your day, over your circumstances, over your life. It is about saying, "I will not wait for things to happen to me. I will move. I will act. I will position myself in the path of God's favor." And here is the key. The action you take must be aligned with divine principles, with integrity, with vision, because favor is selective. Favor honors alignment, not desperation. It responds to preparation, not panic. Every morning as you rise, you have a choice to react to the world around you or to create the world within you. And the moment you choose creation, you send ripples into the universe. You stir the winds of opportunity. You attract the invisible forces that govern breakthrough. Yet many fail because they underestimate the power of a disciplined start. They allow distractions to dictate their first hours, and by noon, they are chasing instead of leading. Favor does not chase the distracted, it follows the focused. So this is your challenge every morning. Commit to purposeful action. Declare your steps. Move with intention. Align your motion with the calling on your life. Because the combination of prayerful alignment and decisive action creates a force that the world cannot resist. It positions you for breakthroughs. It opens doors. It shifts circumstances. It moves mountains. And the next principle will take what you have just started and elevate it into extraordinary results. Because favor, my friend, is not just about preparation or action, it is about momentum. And the moment you understand this, everything changes. The final step is where your life truly begins. Now you have positioned yourself to receive divine guidance, and you have committed to purposeful action, but there is one final principle, one decisive step that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary. You see, favor is drawn not just to those who seek and act, but to those who cultivate the right heart, the right attitude, and the right alignment with others. The third step, the step that completes the morning trifecta, is gratitude and generosity. Yes, the simple yet profound practice of acknowledging what you have, blessing what is in your hands, and giving from your heart even before the day unfolds. Think about it. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to attract blessings effortlessly? Doors open, opportunities appear, and relationships flourish. It is not luck. It is the law of reciprocity operating in the spiritual realm. Favor flows toward those who recognize that they are not entitled to it, but are called to steward it. And that begins with gratitude. When you wake up, when your eyes open to the light of a new day, do you thank God for breath, for life, for purpose? Or do you focus immediately on what is missing, what is broken, what has yet to come? The focus of your heart determines the flow of favor. Gratitude opens channels. It aligns your spirit with abundance, and it prepares your life to receive more than you can imagine. But it does not stop there. Gratitude must be accompanied by generosity. Every morning, You have an opportunity to sow seeds, to bless others, to act in ways that extend favor outward. It could be a kind word, a small act of service, or a prayer for someone else's success. Because favor is relational, it is attracted to a life that lifts, that serves, that honors. When you begin your day by giving before taking, by blessing before receiving, you create a magnetic field for divine favor. The universe, the unseen forces that govern breakthrough, cannot ignore a life that operates in this principle. And here is the critical truth: the combination of alignment, action, and a grateful, generous heart creates an unstoppable momentum. Favor does not respond to half-hearted efforts, to selfish pursuits, or to the distracted soul. It responds to the one who is positioned, purposeful, and prepared to bless. Every morning, when you practice this, you are essentially setting the stage for miracles, for divine encounters, for opportunities that were hidden from ordinary eyes. And yet, so many fail to see this. They pray, they act, but they forget gratitude and generosity. And in that moment, doors remain closed. So as you rise tomorrow, remember this trifecta. Seek guidance, move with purpose, give thanks, extend favor, align your heart with abundance, and watch as your steps are directed, your paths opened, and your life transformed. Because favor, my friend, is not just something you wait for. It is something you attract, something you invite, something you create. And when all three are practiced consistently, life will never be the same again. By now, you have learned to position yourself for divine guidance, commit to purposeful action, and cultivate a heart of gratitude and generosity. But there is another principle, one that is often overlooked, yet it is vital to sustaining and multiplying God's favor in your life. This fourth step is discipline and focus, the ability to guard your mind, your attention, and your first thoughts every morning so that you do not allow distractions, doubts, or negativity to derail your momentum. Because favor flows to the focused, and it avoids the distracted like water bypasses dry soil. Think about it. Every morning the world is calling to you notifications, worries, obligations, the noise of life demanding your attention before you have even centered your spirit. And if you allow your focus to be hijacked in those first moments, your day will follow the chaos you allowed. Favor does not chase confusion. It follows clarity. It does not respond to hesitation. It responds to confidence. That is why your mind must be disciplined before it is bombarded, because the first hour sets the trajectory for the next 12. What dominates your morning dominates your day. And here is the truth. Focus is not passive. It is active, intentional, and deliberate. You must decide what will capture your attention, what will occupy your thoughts, and what you will refuse to entertain. Will you dwell on problems, or will you meditate on solutions? Will you feed fear, or will you feed faith? Will you chase temporary distractions, or will you invest in eternal outcomes? The choice determines whether God's favor can flow into your life unhindered, or whether it is blocked by the clutter of a distracted mind. Now, focus does not just protect your day, it amplifies your results. When you are disciplined in thought, every action you take becomes more effective, every decision sharper, every step aligned with purpose. It is like a laser cutting through confusion, creating pathways where there were obstacles, opening doors that seemed sealed. Yet so many people wake up and allow their mornings to be hijacked by trivial matters, leaving no room for clarity, no space for vision, no energy for divine opportunity. And the tragedy is that favor waits patiently for those who are prepared, but it cannot work through minds that are scattered in doubt, scattered in fear, scattered in indecision. So today, make this a principle. Discipline your focus. Protect your first moments. Center your mind on purpose, on destiny, on alignment with God's plan. Guard it against distraction, against comparison, against negativity. And as you do, watch as your life begins to respond to the momentum you have created. Opportunities will emerge, doors will open, relationships will strengthen, actions will bear fruit. And the next step, the next layer of this principle, is where focus transforms from protection into unstoppable momentum, where your mornings become a launch pad for breakthrough, unlike anything you have ever experienced. Because once focus is mastered, everything else becomes effortless. By now, you have learned to position yourself for guidance, act with purpose, cultivate gratitude, and discipline your focus. But there is a fifth principle, a principle so powerful that it transforms preparation into opportunity and opportunity into breakthrough. This principle is intentional declaration. Every morning, before the world speaks to you, before circumstances attempt to dictate your destiny, you must declare out loud to yourself, to the universe, to God, what your day will produce, what your life will attract, and who you are becoming. Words carry power, words create, words command, and your mornings are the moment when your words shape your reality. Consider this carefully. If you wake up silently, if you drift through your morning without declaration, you are allowing the world, the circumstances, and other people to write the story of your day. But when you speak with authority, with clarity, with faith, you are claiming your space in the spiritual and natural realms. You are telling every obstacle, every challenge, every door, I am ready. I am positioned. I am moving in alignment with my destiny. Favor is magnetized by clarity of voice, by decisiveness, by the courage to declare before the evidence appears. And here is what most people do not understand. Declaration is not about arrogance, it is about alignment. It is not about boasting, it is about obedience. It is not about demanding from the universe. It is about inviting God's favor to manifest through the actions, the opportunities, and the connections that you have prepared for. When you declare, you are not creating fantasy, you are calling into reality the results that are already promised through preparation, focus, and alignment. You are activating momentum that is invisible to the eye, but powerful enough to shift circumstances. Now listen closely. The act of declaration also shapes your mindset. When you speak your purpose, when you affirm your goals, when you pronounce victory over challenges, your subconscious begins to align with your spoken words. Fear begins to fade, doubt begins to dissolve, and your confidence begins to rise. And as your confidence rises, so does your ability to act decisively, to recognize opportunities, to seize favor when it presents itself. Your words are the catalysts that transform preparation into action and action into breakthrough. But here is the critical truth. Declaration is most powerful in the morning. Why? Because mornings are fresh, untouched, untainted by failure, complaint, or discouragement. The first words you speak shape the day. The first words you speak set the tone for your mind, your emotions, and your spirit. And favor always responds to those who take the first step boldly, who set the course before circumstances interfere, who declare victory before it is visible. So today, make it a habit. Speak your purpose, declare your victory, affirm your calling, pronounce your destiny. Because the next principle, the one that turns daily declarations into lifelong transformation, will show you how to sustain this momentum and multiply God's favor beyond anything you have ever imagined. And when you master this, the universe itself begins to obey your voice. Now, we arrive at the sixth principle, the principle that completes the cycle, the principle that transforms intention, action, focus, and declaration into a life that consistently attracts divine favor. This is the principle of alignment with purpose. Every morning, before you allow the demands of the day to define you, you must reconnect with the reason you were created, the destiny you were designed to fulfill. Because favor does not chase confusion, it follows clarity. Favor does not respond to busyness, it responds to purpose. And the one who rises daily with a clear understanding of why they exist and what they are here to accomplish, positions themselves at the center of opportunity, of provision, and of breakthrough. Consider this: your life is not random. Your talents, your passions, your experiences, and even your struggles are designed to lead you to a purpose that is unique, that is strategic, that is extraordinary, and the mornings are your launch pad. When you rise and remind yourself of your purpose, when you align every thought, every action, every word with that purpose, you begin to attract circumstances, people, and opportunities that were created to converge with your destiny. Alignment is not optional. It is essential. Without it, favor may visit briefly, but it cannot remain. Without it, momentum dissipates and potential remains unrealized. And here is the truth. Purpose alignment demands honesty. It demands self-reflection. It demands that you ask yourself, am I living my life according to what is expected of me, or am I living according to what I was created to achieve? Am I following the crowd, or am I following my calling? The morning is the perfect time to recalibrate, to make adjustments, to say, today I will operate in my purpose. Today I will align my actions with my destiny. Today I will attract God's favor because I am walking in the plan I was created for. Alignment with purpose also brings peace, clarity, and confidence. When you know your purpose, every obstacle becomes an opportunity. Every delay becomes a lesson. Every encounter becomes a strategic step forward. The energy of the morning, focused on purpose, amplifies your favor. Doors open, resources appear, connections align, and suddenly, what once seemed impossible becomes inevitable. But it only happens when you rise with intention, when you align your day with destiny, and when you refuse to compromise the calling on your life. So, as you practice this final principle, remember, it is not just about one morning, one day, or one breakthrough. It is about creating a life rhythm, a daily pattern, a consistent habit that draws favor continually, relentlessly, inevitably. Because favor follows preparation, action, focus, declaration, gratitude, and purpose. And when all six are combined, nothing can stop you. Rise with clarity, move with intention, speak with authority, serve with gratitude, focus with discipline, align with purpose, and watch as God's favor surrounds you, lifts you, positions you, protects you, and propels you beyond every limitation into every blessing, into every destiny, into the extraordinary life you were created to live.